Alright, in this video, I'm going to be talking about inventory management and just like a deeper dive, um, more explanation, etc. So, with the last video, just to recap, I was talking about inventory management, what I do every single time I get a full bag, and how I go through the process of decluttering, picking and choosing whatnot, what I want, what I don't want. Um, I'm gonna be talking more about like I guess just little extra things, maybe things I didn't mention before. Um, and I'm gonna be talking about uh, you know, some of the same things or maybe some different things that I didn't include in the last video. Um, so here Um, I have a full bag, and so I came back to the base of ops, and I'm looking through the guns that I want to keep and the guns that I want to get rid of. Um, Really, for a lot of guns, I like damage targets out of cover. For some guns, I like headshot damage, very situational and very specific. Really, rifles and marksman rifles, for example. Here I'm looking at gear shift. By the looks of it, I didn't really like it. Just the sound of it. It's probably a good gun, but I just don't like the sound of, the talent that it gives you. So I just scrap it for now, and that's okay. I liked a Model 700 that I wanted to keep because it has the right rolls. It has that damage to targets out of cover, and it has that headshot damage and marksman rifle damage that I want, and then it has the ability to roll the talent. That's the most ideal weapon or item um, you want. You want to be able to re-roll the talent and not the attributes, because I feel like you can experiment more, you can have more fun with the item when you can just re-roll the talent over and over again to different ones, and it completely changes up the how you use the gun, um, and like the ways you can, play the game. And so finding the right attribute rolls is really important, because it lets you re-roll the talent over and over again. Because we all know you can only recalibrate one part of the item. That's why it's also so easy to find gear set items, because there's only two items, and most of the time the core attribute is already rolled to what you want. Most of the time. Sometimes you have to roll the core attribute and you have to find a specific attribute of that gear set item. But overall, gear set items are probably one of the most easiest items to find, just because they're in like regular loot pool, and there's only two instead of three items, like three different stats on the item. So here I'm really just going through like the holsters. Um, Really, for me, it depends on the brand set, which attributes I want. Um, like more for the airality ones, I want weapon handling and headshot damage, and obviously weapon damage comes as a core attribute for the item. Um, so like here, I'm looking at a Picaro's holster, and I notice like I want a Picaro's holster, but I don't want, multiple. I just need one, because all you're gonna do is just equip one and use that one for, multiple builds. But it also depends on, are you gonna use it for a skill build? Are you gonna use it for like some sort of hybrid build of some kind, some sort of survivability build? Because the Picaro's holster is very useful for those kind of builds. And yeah, it really just takes some time. to just go through the items that you have. Um, and really, if you want to like super speed it up, but really you have to fill out your library first, and um, you have to fill out uh, your shade watch, not your shade watch, your expertise level. You have to fill out your library and your expertise level first, and then after that, um, you can really like once you see an item drop in the open world or wherever, you can just deconstruct it right then and there if you don't want, you know, that specific item. But obviously, if you want the item or if you want to look at it, you can inspect it on the floor, which is a nice little um, feature. So yeah, um, there's a little like there's little things you can do to like speed up the process and whatnot. Um, I was opening up field proficiency caches from this backpack actually, and you can see that well, this is only for you PC goers. Sorry, console players, but you can speed up the proficiency caches. So I learned. Um, you can right click on the proficiency cache and press spacebar multiple times, and it speeds up the process basically for opening up your field proficiency caches, which is really nice feature. And yeah, so uh, with like masks and stuff, I'm looking for something with crits. Because I like crit builds, and I'm looking for, you know, like if I have an Araldi's mask, I use weapon handling and headshot damage. Uh, and then with a talent Headhunter, for like chess pieces, if I have an Araldi chess piece. Um, so like for example, the most ideal role on a Araldi chess piece would be, um, or like really any sniper one shot build chess piece, or rather body armor. Um, you find it as weapon damage, headshot damage, weapon handling, and you can re-roll the talent. Basically, that's the most ideal um, body armor piece. So here, I noticed that there's crit damage, but I obviously don't want crit damage, so I have to re-roll that to headshot damage. So that means that I have to use the talent, and it's a skill talent. So I'm like, no, I don't want that because I'm trying to one-shot people, especially when it's a Providence piece. It's headshot damage as a brand set bonus. Um, yeah, why? It doesn't make sense. So you just get rid of it. And here with mods, basically I made a little list. Um, I usually keep about. This is probably a more important part of the video, to be honest. Is these mods, these gear pieces. Um, you have to manage them a little bit because they can get like overflowed quite easily if you don't know which ones to delete and which ones to keep. Um, I like to, hold on to the highest rolls of the attributes on the gear set mods, And so I made a little list, um, basically telling me really easily which ones I get rid of, which ones I don't. And I did that for like, literally each item on the screen. So like I made a list for these decoy skills. I made a list for every single, utility gear mod, defense gear mod, offensive gear mod. Each skill I made a list for, like how much skill haste is enough to keep a mod. How much headshot damage is it to keep the mod? Because you don't want to keep the super low rolls because you're only going to use the highest ones, or at least you want to use the highest ones. So for rule of thumb, I keep about, let's say, to 3 to 6 at least of the items that you use very often. You can get rid of the ones obviously you don't like you're never gonna use them, or like you don't think you're gonna use them for a very long time. You can just scrap those immediately. Um, but yeah, like for example, if I get a bunch of crit chance mods and I'm overloaded on crit chance mods in my stash, I have to, look through my stash and like get rid of certain ones. And like you're only gonna have so many builds with crit chance mods. Like you're gonna have crit damage mods at one point on some of the builds. Um, so you have to know which crit chance mods to keep and which ones to get rid of. Um, but yeah, rule of thumb for me, I save about 3 to 6, um, or even 9, depending on the actual gear mod. Because I do use some gear mods over others more often. Um, so like I'm not gonna keep more gear mods of, let's say, uh, like incoming repairs in comparison to crit chance or crit damage mods. Like I'm gonna have more crit chance mods than incoming repair mods in my stash because I just use them more often. So it makes more sense to have more of the thing that you use most often. Because really, what you don't want to happen, the whole point of this is to make sure that you're using absolutely everything that you have on you in your stash and in your inventory. That you use basically everything that you have as much as possible. Because you don't want to keep stuff and not use it at all and it just take up space and then you basically lose stash space. Like you want to keep the space, as much space as possible. You want to maintain that space so you could keep picking up items, you can keep going to your library, you can keep donating to your expertise. Um, yeah, and this video is really for the people that are below Shadewatch level 1000, um, more specifically, and above level 40. That's like, if you're basically above level 40, and below Shadewatch level 1000, this is kind of for you. Um, Even though I'm only Shadewatch level 809, I've played this game enough to like realize which things are like, okay to keep and okay to get rid of, and like I know my way around the stash, because the stash problems can get very, very messy if you don't know what you're doing, and you just pick up absolutely everything and don't know what the heck to get rid of. Um, so yeah, it's really for you to figure out, is a short answer. You gotta figure out what you actually want in the game, what items you actually want to keep, what builds you want to make. You gotta be specific about it, because for example, you can have a bunch of gold items, but if you want to build a bunch of gear set builds, you're not gonna need a bunch of gold items. Your gear set items are gonna be the majority of your items. So if you have like way more gold items than you do green items, then what the heck is the point in that? Because the majority of your builds are going to be green instead of yellow or gold. High end, whatever you want to call it. So, yeah, you got to make sure what you're keeping and what you're getting rid of and what you're using. So, that's for you to figure out. And I'll see you in the next video.